In this video, I will talk about static and dynamic pages and their processing in the server. Let's begin with a brief introduction. Web pages can be separated into two different types: static and dynamic web pages. Static web pages display the same content for every user. It does not change in response to user input. Static pages are usually written in HTML and are stored on the server with a file extension of HTML or STM. On the other hand, a dynamic web page is one that can display different content and provide user interactions as well. The web page changes according to information sent to the server by the browser. The dynamic pages are developed using advanced programming languages and database in addition to HTML. Comparatively, static web pages are easier to create, while dynamic web pages require more logical work. Let's discuss the server-side processing of static and dynamic web pages. For static web pages, when a server receives a request for a web page, the server sends the response to the client without doing any additional work. It simply retrieves the HTML file from the disk and sends it to the browser, and the web browser will show the output. In static web pages, the content will remain the same until someone changes it manually, editing the code. Dynamic web pages are written in languages such as PHP, JSP, ASP.NET, etc. In dynamic web pages, the content of a page is different for different visitors. It takes more time to load than the static web page. When a web browser receives a request for a dynamic web page, the server passes the request to the application server. The application server executes the web application, which generates an HTML document. After processing, the document is returned to the application server, which passes it back to the web server. The web server then sends the document to requesting browser. To determine what application server is used to process, the web browser looks on the file extension and associated application. If the extension is PHP, the request is passed to PHP application. Dynamic web pages are used where the information is changed frequently, for example, news, stock price, weather information, etc. With this, I hope you had the idea about static and dynamic web pages and its processing by the web server. See you in the next video.